Good afternoon. Good to see all of you today. I'm really lucky to get a chance to introduce DJ Mackovets. DJ and I actually met not too long after he came to Birmingham in 2017. We had a chance to meet through Christy Thomas, his wife, a few years back. He is CEO of the Birmingham Host Committee for the 2025 World Police and Fire Games, which I know we'll hear about. He's got a ton of experience in events and marketing in this area, more than 40 years. And I want to give him some time to talk, so I'm not going to go through all of his experience, but I wanted to highlight just a couple of things. He's been engaged in the World University Games, Goodwill Games, a couple of Olympic festivals, and the 2015 World Police and Fire Games. He was also CEO of the local organizing committee for the World Games of 2022 for almost 3 years. In the last 10 years, he served in the role of Chief of Operations for Comicpalooza, which is the largest pop culture festival held in Texas. And by the way, I am glossing over his organizing 2 Final Fours, 2 Super Bowls, and the Bassmaster Classic as well. He's a native of Pocahontas, Iowa, and I just found out a Jayhawk, University of Kansas, relocated to Birmingham in 2017 after almost 30 years in Atlanta. He and Christy Thomas, who is a fellow Kiwanian and Chief Financial Officer for McKinney Communications Corporation, they live in Vestavia with their 2 rescue dogs, Ellie and Luke. And DJ, looking forward to hearing you today. Thanks.
Thank you for being brief there, Anoop. I need to edit that bio. 911, what is your emergency? This is a female caller. I am home alone. My husband is not here. Someone, I think, is in our house. Ma'am, are you harmed? Can you get somewhere safe and lock a door, please? Yes, I think I can. Please stay on the line with me. Help is on the way. I hope nobody in this room ever has to make a call like that. In America, 240 million calls are made to 911 services annually. People seeking help from police, fire, and medical services. This summer, in 3 weeks, about 8,000 first responders from around the world will convene here in Birmingham for 10 days of competition. You see the dates on the screen above my head and in front of me. The 27th of June, we open in Legacy Arena all the way through the 6th of July. Let's take a quick visual look at the games. If I can, there we go. Well, we get the booth to run the video, please. Thank you.
Every 2 years, first responders from around the globe gather for an event unlike any other. These are the heroes who keep us safe, and now they're coming together for the ultimate competition. In 2025, the World Police and Fire Games will host thousands of first responder athletes competing in 67 sports over 10 thrilling days in Birmingham, Alabama. From traditional sports to more unique challenges like marksmanship, canine biathlon, and firefighter challenge, there's something for everyone. Athletes Village gives first responders a hub to unwind with activities, entertainment, and a taste of local culture. Be part of the excitement with opening and closing ceremonies that celebrate the spirit of camaraderie and competition. Witness the passion as these athletes compete, not just for the gold, but for the honor and pride of their service. Come cheer on your heroes as all spectator admission is free and experience the impact as the World Police and Fire Games transforms Birmingham with over 30 venues and hosting athletes from more than 70 countries. The World Police and Fire Games, a celebration of bravery, competition, and unity. Join us in 2025 for an unforgettable experience.
Thank you. The journey started 7 years ago. It's taken that long from the bid process to inception to really put these games in place. It was a very competitive bidding process. The games were founded in the mid-'80s in California. They're actually a property of the California Police Athletic Federation, which is in the middle of their annual United States Police and Fire Championships that they've hosted in California for almost 55 years. The reason for founding: better fitness in first responder ranks, camaraderie, recruiting opportunities. Games have been all over the world. You name a city, they've been in the major cities in the world. They've been in Rotterdam and Winnipeg, in Vancouver, in Melbourne, in Stockholm, in Barcelona, in Belfast, in Chengdu, China, in Los Angeles, in New York City, in Washington, D.C. Our competitor was Lisbon, Portugal. The games in 27 are going to Perth, Australia, and in 3 weeks, the 29 bid will be awarded to either Hanoi, Vietnam, or Ahmedabad, India. So you can see this is truly a very international event. It's an event that cities bid on, host. These athletes love to travel. We've got about 7,500 athletes registered to date, representing almost 70 countries, competing in 65 different sports at about 45 venues throughout the metro area. So it is a very widespread operational integration that's required to host the event. When we looked at the bid process, we talked about the benefits of hosting. Over the 4th of July made some sense because typically the hospitality community, as you all know, is relatively slow then. People are out of town, they're in the Gulf, they're at the lake, they're on some kind of family vacation. So it brings a lot of people into the community, spending their own money. These athletes pay to fly, they pay to stay in hotels, they provide their own meals, they rent cars, they shop and retail. So they generally, and they pay to register as well to participate in the actual event. So they definitely have an impact when they're here, and you'll see them throughout the community. I'll just run through some of these sports. There are so many. There's a sport for everybody. And one big point to note here, it's very important. These are free. By contract, we don't sell tickets. There's not a single economic impediment to anybody going to any event. There's a wide range of sports. From the traditional sports we all knew and played and watched growing up, we officiated, our kids played, we played, we've coached, whatever it is, but then you've got some of the unique sports for the services, whether it's the shooting sports, archery, the K-9 events, firefighter muster, just a lot of really unique sports that are visually very fun to watch. Unique venues with unique sports: boxing on the stage at the Alabama Theater, dragon boat on the lake at Oak Mountain State Park, baseball at Rickwood Field. So we're trying to use some of the iconic venues in the community to host the games. Lots of presence in Hoover at the BJCC. We play ice hockey in Pelham. We're shooting at the CMP Marksmanship Park in Talladega, which literally is a world-class shooting venue. We're on the landing at Lincoln for angling on Lake Logan Martin. We play golf on several golf courses. Boutwell has all of our mat sports. So it is a real wide variety of opportunities. The recruiting strategy, and I've got a couple of my key recruiting people down here in front of me, was really started when we went to the games in Rotterdam, the Netherlands in 2022. COVID wreaked havoc with the schedule, just like it did here for the World Games. Rotterdam and Winnipeg should have been 2 years apart, but they went back-to-back in 22 and 23. So we were lucky to have the 2-year spread coming out of Canada to be able to really recruit. We set up an ambassador program. We have 300 athletes that are part of our network worldwide that are really grassroots marketing people that help us tell the story and help drive athlete recruitment and registration, help us with messaging, retweeting stuff on social, stuff that's way beyond my expertise, but I've got a good group of people, including Kathy, who's part of our senior leadership team, as you heard, that help us get this done. Why Birmingham? People ask me that question. They've been asking me that question for years and years and years. We got the bid opportunity. I was the person that ran these games in 2015 when they were in the national capital in Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, and Maryland. So relationships were in place with the Worldwide Board, again, based in California and San Diego. Got the bid documents, sat down with the mayor, talked to the CVB folks, talked to the county commission, basically looked at the economics, the requirements, brought the president, the vice president of the board of directors in November of 18, did a week-long series of venue tours, looked at the hotels, spent an hour talking to Mayor Woodfin, and he basically told me after they left, go get this, and we did. We were supposed to be in Rotterdam in March of 20 to make the bid presentation. Well, we all know what happened in the spring of 20. Eventually, we made the presentation via literally a television program shot live out of the Westin Ballroom to all of the directors worldwide. The Federation is a far-flung group of directors, all former first responders. Northern Ireland, Canada, Belgium, Sweden, Australia, United States. So we had to really put this TV place together to make it work. But we made the pitch that day. We spent several hours talking to them, answering questions. And luckily, we were awarded the bid that night. So again, the journey began. A $16 million event. You don't have to really worry about the schedule. It's very detailed, as you can see. Peak days, the 29th of June through the 1st of July, we're actually operating like 40 venues simultaneously throughout the whole central region, with the bus system that kind of knits everything together, with the medical system put in place by UAB Medicine, a security group, obviously all the sports management teams. So it is a fairly large logistical undertaking. Have there been challenges? Yeah, you bet there's been challenges. A lot of different things have come up. We started with COVID. The other things that have come up have been somewhat more recent. Some of the rhetoric out of the White House. We've seen the Canadian numbers dwindle, honestly. When we had the games in Virginia in 15, we had 1,600 athletes from Canada. We're barely cresting 900 right now, and some Canadians have withdrawn and asked for refunds. The clear shortage in public safety ranks across America has been a real big impact. With openings in fire and police departments, corrections facilities, sheriff's offices rampant nationwide, our numbers are not what we thought from the United States. They're still very good, but two big reasons I think that, again, we're at about 7,500. Our goal is 8,500. We're going to get close, but I don't know if we'll get to that full number. But it's going to be a great event. I think there's, again, we're opening in the arena. You see the hub right here, the BJCC. Athletes Village will use several blocks of the great linear park, the City Walk, many competitions inside the convention center, right around the corner at Boutwell, headquarters hotels in the Sheraton and the Marriott, and 20 other properties throughout the area. So again, lots of access, spread out, free, just a great thing to visit. The Village every night for 10 days. Entertainment like they want, cheap beer. I mean, that's one of their biggest requests from the athletes. Extremely competitive. This is all of us are fans in here of different sports and teams, pro and college. First time I saw activities was 2013. I was at the games that were in Belfast, Northern Ireland. I was in their one arena, and it was a gold medal match for ice hockey. Toronto Fire, Montreal PD for the gold medal. Very, very aggressive on the ice. An hour and a half later, they're in the Village drinking beers together. But that's kind of the deal. A lot of competition, then there's the camaraderie element, after they kind of get off stage. So the Village will be fun. It'll be a place for them to hang out at night after they finish their competition. So it should be a really good time for everybody. City Walk, I think, presents so well. The group that's managing the Village for us produced a similar concept during the recent women's NCAA basketball tournament games this past March, and kind of got a little bit of a test run, got great feedback from the fans and from the BJCC staff, nightly activations. It's been one of those deals where the more you can put in there, the merrier it is. Adjacent to the BJCC and the host hotels, Rotterdam and Winnipeg had their villages blocks and blocks and blocks away from their real hub of activity. So this proximity is really special. I think these next two slides are important. Birmingham has been successful in hosting events in general and multi-sport events because of the cooperative partnerships between the public sector, city, county, state, Greater Birmingham Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the private sector. And you can see the representative companies on the screen above my head. A great group of companies that support first responders and support activities in the community, as most of them always do. The next slide is all of us, and there are people in this room I know that are involved in events. Everybody needs great volunteers to make it go. You can't afford a full-time staff. You need the enthusiasm. You need those people that have the time away from their job. They're part of a civic group like this. They come with their church group. You know, whatever, it's a group of people in the summer that were teachers that are not working in the summer. So we're looking for volunteers. I think Kathy is somebody that if you're a part of a group, this group, any group, please see Kathy when we get off the stage, because we continue to seek volunteers to support all of the efforts that we need. You know, we've got it's a 4-shift minimum, 16 years of age, but we've got some flexibility. You know, we can work with anybody that has interest, and it's fun. You get tickets to opening ceremony, closing ceremony. The Legion's providing soccer tickets to a match that's happening during the games. The amphitheater obviously will be wide open. The new Coca-Cola amphitheater opens adjacent to our games period. I think there are 6 major concerts scheduled in the amphitheater during our 10-day games period. The Barons are in town for several games, so there's going to be a lot for our athletes to do that have, first of all, that haven't been to Birmingham or have not been to America. And a lot of them, obviously, even the folks that haven't been to Birmingham may not have even been in the American South before. So during the site visit I referenced in 18, the president and vice president of the board at that time, one from Stockton, California, the other from Sacramento. The president from Stockton, after a week, said, I could move here. I did not know what to expect. I didn't know what we were going to see. I did not know what kind of facilities or hotels would be available. He loved it. He said, I thought it would be flat, uninspiring. He loved it. Whether it's Railroad Park, Vulcan, the club, everything that they saw in all the venues, they had a great time, and that really helped boost our bid effort. Yeah, I think the regions I want to thank as well. They're a big partner of ours and obviously supporting our volunteer program. Again, you got to have these corporate people to get this stuff done, and they keep stepping up here. And, you know, Birmingham in 2029 has the National Senior Games back again. They were here in 17 very successfully with over 12,000 senior athletes over the age of 50. So Birmingham has really found a niche in this big multi-sport event world. Again, I talked about the volunteers. The registration's open. Kathy can give you the 411, and she can twist your arm a little bit better than I can, because you can tell the passion that's in her voice when she speaks about this community and about the volunteer program. This is all obviously related to volunteers. Proud Host is a way for businesses to be involved at a more modest financial level. We ran this program in 15 in DC, and it's for the local florist or the sign shop or a local pub, just to show support for first responders in the community. Again, all this is on our website, so it's a lot of work that you can go through this. You can see the types of people that are already involved in the Proud Host program. On the retail side, the Legion, the Zoo, Academy, Top Golf, you know, Soho Social, and all the folks there that are part of that restaurant group. Back 40, Five Guys, good people. There's some theme there to drinking spots. Rusty's Barbecue, we love him in Leeds. Service companies, Sports Clips. For us, recently ran a promotion throughout North America, not just in the United States, but in Canada and the United States. I think it was 19,000 sport clips promoting these games, running a contest where they're sponsoring first responders to come to the games. The wellness side of it obviously is important too. So it's a real range of people that are participating to date in this program. I love when my staff gives me a new set of slides that I haven't seen before. So full disclosure, quick event comparisons between the 3 most recent World Games, Transplant Games of America, and World Police and Fire. So I'm not going to go down it. Paid admission, free to us. Similar length in days, obviously more venues, double the number of athletes, double the number of sports. The World Games, honestly, let me be very clear about this. Anoop mentioned my background. Obviously, I went from running a Final Four in Atlanta to a Super Bowl in the early 2000s. And the Atlanta media would ask me this trap question, which one's better than the other? Well, when I look at the World Games and the World Police and Fire Games, one's not better than the other. They're just different. And I think that's the way to look at the difference between 22 and 25. Why compete? Again, the athletes, it's improved skills, it's recruiting for the department, better fitness, it's camaraderie, it's, in many cases, it's a chance to get out of their community. We've run a great program here in Alabama. Allie, raise your hand again. When I stood up in front of the World Federation Board before the games opened in Winnipeg, I was honestly ashamed to say that at that time, the registered number of athletes in those games in 2023 from the state of Alabama was 1, just 1. We're now registered at 500. So,
Thanks, Alex.
yeah. I get the reasons for that, but that's an unbelievable exponential increase. Thank you very much. I know I could go on and on and on. It is a tremendous event. It's a way for people to say thank you and support first responders. Think back to COVID. God, hope you don't ever have to make one of those 911 calls. But again, it's free. Family, children, some of these sports kids love. Firefighter muster on the morning of the 4th of July in front of City Hall. The old school hose carts. You know, they're shooting the hose, trying to hit a target. Kids love to stand behind the hoses because they get wet. It's a hot July 4th day. You know, boxing, ice hockey, all kinds of mat sports. I mean, it's just the canine events. So I'll be glad at this point to answer any questions. Thank you. JW?
At first, you and Kathy deserve a ton of credit. I was skeptical. The World Games was so well run. You guys did a terrific job. You deserve a lot of credit for that.
Thank you.
Help me understand the economics. Why is, and I see all these economic development studies, I'm not sure they're calculated. Why is this a good financial decision?
It's a different economic model, JW. If you remember, the original bid budget for the World Games was $75 million. And the bid budget here, our budget is $16 million. And we think our return is probably 3 to 1, 4 to 1 on that. We were very conservative on the economic impact during the bid process at $65 million. But I think with the fact that these athletes spend their own money, the average stay is about 5 nights. It's about 2.5 people travel with each athlete. It's a wife or it's a, grandparents or it's children or both. Again, it's, our spend is the host committee is the biggest spend, and we're spending locally. We've got a bus system. We've got, signage companies. I mean, you name it. We're spending the money, but it's just, I think fiscally the return is much more practical when you evaluate it. And look, my comments about the World Games hold. One's not better than the other. It's just a different business model. Yes, sir.
2 quick questions. Number one, what's the website where we can find out?
Easy website. It's BHM, like Birmingham, BHM2025.com. So Birmingham2025.com.
Second question is, where are the canine events going to be held?
Yeah, I'm the same way. My wife and I, as the new reference, are dog people. The challenge with the canine events, and I'm not law enforcement, I'm obviously clearly not law enforcement. Some of the canine events, you're not allowed to have spectators, because if you think about the drug interdiction aspect, where a dog's trying to sniff out, the dogs are either drug dogs or they're bomb dogs in most cases. But we have an event that we developed called Canine Biathlon that's in one of the parks, but all the details are on the website, by sport, by venue. Yes, sir.
In Birmingham and surrounding municipalities, are the police chiefs and fire chiefs arranging their schedules so that their own members can show up?
Yeah, Kathy, jump in here if you want to answer any of this. But yes, they are, absolutely.
Yeah, and the K9, Spain Park, Veterans Park, a couple of those are gonna be out there.
Yeah.
That they will be able to attend. And, as far as, what was that last question?
Are the police chiefs and fire chiefs
Yeah.
changing the schedule so their guys can show up?
Yeah, as
there's been a real concerted effort to talk to, whether it's the Alabama police chiefs, the Alabama fire chiefs, Aaliyah. We did a nice event with the governor last month. We've been to Huntsville. We're really, it's literally like an old school tour of the state to promote the games, make sure everybody knows about it in the state, primarily first responders, but the general public. And obviously to educate the state legislature as well, as we sought funding and support from the governor on down there.
And I think to support something DJ said is to really help people understand this is also open to any first responder, like correction officers, 911 dispatch, I mean, anything, you name it, literally, even lifeguards. And it's also not just open to those that are actually currently, it's for retirees too. And so you'll actually find teams that have a blend of active and retired people, as well as people from different countries and departments from all over formulating a team.
I'm going to get to you in a second, but the games in Winnipeg was the very first time that the World Federation, and the games have been every 2 years since '85, allowed volunteer firefighters to compete. Think about the sparse population of the province of Manitoba, Canada. So they wanted to make sure they could involve the province first responders, so they fought the battle, as did we collectively, and they opened up the volunteer firefighter category. There are 10,000 volunteer firefighters in the state of Alabama alone. Sir?
I think the first thing, the vision is one of the committees are great and sponsors of all of these.
Thank you.
And it's amazing how much work you've done and what you're on this committee. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the comment.
You know, I was thinking about several things. 500 people in Birmingham. You know, this is the land of Alabama and Auburn and San Antonio. Don't expect some of them to kick, you know, what place it has.
The governor was very clear about that at her press event at the Capitol. She expected some butt kicking by Alabama first responders.
Well, and I'm also hoping that this will be seen as a great opportunity to recruit some people for the vacant positions.
Yes,
And they see what it seems like.
absolutely.
My last question, I was going to add something to Carrie's wonderful presentation. It's so good every week. The Olmsted brothers, the father was bringing people on.
Yeah.
As you know, a lot of people know, designed Central Park.
Right.
He also designed the fairgrounds for St. Louis, where Vulcan first.
1904 World's Fair.
So I'm hoping that there might be Vulcan somewhere in your market, and maybe in the
There's probably a lady down at this table here that could help me with that, Cynthia. Yeah, thanks a lot. And I think Olmsted did Piedmont Park in Atlanta as well. Anybody else? Oh, there you, I'm sorry to get ahead of you. Yes, sir. Well, I'll say this, and this is very respectful. Multi-sport events are very different. They're very different. It's not a single sport at a single venue, as complicated as the NFL has grown the Super Bowl into. And I've worked 7 of them for the league. But when you're talking about 35 to 40 sports at different venues on the same day throughout a 50 to 60 mile spread to make sure that the medical is there, the security, the transport. And I think that's why these are not something that a lot of people jump into. This is my 12th multi-sport event, so I am fairly familiar with the challenges. Doesn't make it any easier, but you know, once you've been through anything, it's almost like an annual process. These are projects that have a start and an end. There's not an annual scenario to it, but you have the relationship. You know where the challenges are. You understand the timeline, where the biggest problems that you potentially will encounter. So I would say that these multi-sport events, and speaking of Central Park, I was Goodwill Games in New York City and Central Park. Try to work with the Central Park Conservancy on taking Woolman Rink, turning it from the rink into the beach volleyball venue. So the multi-sport events are pretty challenging. Anybody else? Susanna?
You mentioned the 2 lead people that came that have this experience a lot when we bring
Yes.
people to Birmingham. They're like, wow. So, sure, I know you have a couple of other stories, but you had a lot of people visit here.
We have.
For next month.
Well, Susanna, that's a good question. And one simple takeaway, and it seems a little bit, like, I'm not even sure the right word, but Southern hospitality is real, and that's what they say. And the quality of the people, and we saw it last summer for the Transplant Games of America, honestly, that were here over the 4th of July, where these people were either transplant donors, transplant recipients. There were thousands of people that came up to me when we finished and said, never been to Birmingham, don't really know why. It wasn't like they had a bad opinion, they had no opinion. That turned into a positive opinion. And I think that's what's happened when our international visitors have come. We've had a lot of visitors from Perth, from Belfast, from Canada, from Belgium. I mean, people that are coming to prep for their own teams and countries arriving. And they're excited. I mean, they really are. I just think the world has no opinion of Birmingham. We can all debate the history, and we don't need to get into that, but most people just like, okay, it's like a clean slate, and they come away very pleased. They love, honestly, the first impression coming through Shuttlesworth has always been positive. So, anybody else? Thank you so much for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
DJ, thank you. That was great. A lot of excitement, I think, around this event. And I hope you've got some volunteers, Kathy, that have.
Kathy's going to stand at the door.
There you go. You can't get out. You can't get out without volunteering today. But no, thank you again. No, it's a busy time, but we appreciate you spending some time with us today. In appreciation of that, we're making a gift to your charity of choice, the Greater Birmingham Humane Society. So the dog animal theme continues. There you go. Kiwanians, we hope you will all plan to join us next Tuesday, as we hold a philanthropy panel moderated by our own Susanna Schuler, featuring leaders of 3 of our city's largest nonprofits. So we have our own Kiwanian Drew Langlow, President and CEO of the United Way of Central Alabama, Dan Pyle, who is soon to be departing the YMCA of Greater Birmingham, but I think we'll have great perspective on the topic, and Nicole Williams, CEO of the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. So I think that'll be a great discussion, and hope you all join us from that. The lineup continues for the summer. A lot of great speakers coming up. Chef Rob McDaniel, owner of Helen and Bayonet Restaurant. Steele Marcoux, editor-in-chief of Veranda Magazine. Cindy Mullins, executive director of Birmingham Landmarks. This is a special event at the Lyric. Will be another off-site event, so more details coming up on that. We're excited. Sid Trent, Chancellor of the University of Alabama System, Chief Justice Sarah Stewart of the Alabama Supreme Court, Daryl Taylor, Airbus Senior Vice President, Commercial Operations in the U.S., and on and on and on. So hope you will protect this time on your calendar. Great to see you. Have a good week. We are adjourned.